Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I know, normally Tuesday is like a teaching day for me, but it's just been like really busy for me recently. So I didn't actually prep a teaching lesson plan today, unfortunately. But we're still gonna do some educational stuff, I think. Gonna look at StuffMadeHere's new video because I think he put like a brand new one out like last week. And I'm really interested to see what he's made. I'm sure it's really cool. But I specifically made sure not to watch it so I could watch it for the first time on stream with you guys. And I am so excited. I always love watching his videos. I feel like it's so inspirational to see someone who just goes out there and just makes things. Hey Rax, hey Penboo. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are having a fine Tuesday and everything's great and your week has started off strong. For me, it's been like an okay week. I mean, I feel like I've been really productive, but at the same time I feel like my list of things to get done is just getting longer. Constantly. Just more things added to the plate all the time. And I don't really know why life is like this. Why life can't just give me a break. But good things are happening. Good things are happening. I think... Hey, Mystery. Cat on lap, laid back on chair. That sounds so comfy, Rax. Wait, when you lay back in your chair, do you have a good view of your computer monitor? Or do you have like some fancy setup where you can be like laid down and it's like on a TV or something? Are you playing me on your TV for everyone to see? Nice and cute, big plastered across your wall on your giant flat screen TV. Oh, hey Mystery, I see that you... Wait, the UMC5, I assume that's a machine, right? Something for making things? UMC 500? And he just got it? I think he was asking for it in one of his previous videos. 5-axis machining. Wait, this is crazy looking. This is crazy looking. It's on sale for the cheaper price of $114,000. Ah, yes, machines are definitely affordable, reasonable prices, for sure. The only place you can put me bigger than a monitor is your dreams? I'm in your dreams? What do you mean, nightmare? I'm a dream. I'm the best dream you've ever had. And don't you forget it. Okay? Don't you forget it. But anyway. I am looking forward to seeing what he's made with his, I guess, fancy new machine. Or maybe he only just got it and he didn't use the fancy new machine on whatever he built in his latest video. What do you mean, Mystery, that's cheap? That's like 4 cars. That doesn't sound cheap to me. That's like... Think of how many years you probably have to work to save that much. If you don't have like big company sponsoring backing you to get this 5-axis mill. Holy cow. I wonder how much more like flexible your programming can be with the 5-axis mill. How much easier it makes things. I feel like even if you don't have like some fancy 5-axis machine, you can probably still make most of the same parts. They're just like more work. But dreaming with the unreachable is a nightmare. You woke up and Thanks, Max. Exactly. But you don't have to be afraid of waking up and me not being there.
What's the opposite of a wet dream? Cat gets banned.
I'm here, and I'll continue to be here, and I hope you'll continue to be here too. Opposite of a wet dream, is that that's a dry awake? I don't know. A DMG Mori is probably 8 times. Okay, well, I don't think I will ever own any machine that costs 8 times. That's a house, Mr. E. That's a house. Would you rather have machine shop tools or a house? I don't know about you, but in the modern economy, I think I'd rather have the house. The house sounds like a good plan. I'd rather not be homeless. Machine goes brrrr. Also, Ellie, I still don't understand why the text-to-speech reads it if the auto mod filters it. You'd rather have machine tools for sure. Guys, are you financially stable? Are you the people who spend money on toys at the cost of food? Are you the people they warn you about, of like, you spend the money on the gacha game and in exchange you have to give up meals for the next week? Just machine a house easy. Big leg. Yes, I will build my house out of aluminum stock by machining giant aluminum Legos. I'm happy you guys are all here. I'm glad we have like a good amount of people today. It's gonna be fun watching this video. It's gonna be fun seeing what he's built, which apparently, according to the title, is the world's smallest bike. I don't like. Does that mean he just built like a tiny model bike, or it looks like it's something meant to be rideable, but I don't see how it's even remotely close to rideable after a certain point. It's like standing on little like the vehicles they make for the little green army men. It just doesn't seem, I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to it. I always love watching his videos. Maybe we'll watch some other cool stuff too today. I feel like it's been a while since I've watched like some of the stuff Mark Rober has done, besides when we watched the other day, or some of the stuff from like Numberphile or Veritasium. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to some YouTube educational brain rot. I don't know if it still counts as brain rot, but I feel like every time and anything I'm watching on YouTube is like some form of brain rot, because what it ends up is like I end up just sitting there like eyes glazed on the screen like thank you for throwing things at me, Gojo. How are you today? I'm so excited for when Twitch approves my emotes, so then you guys can use the sub emotes. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are all excited too. I do have to like, I can't put all of them up, right? Because I got 12, but I think I only have 10 slots. But I think they'll all be on the Discord. They're so good. I'm glad you like them, Ellie. I'm glad. I don't even know if you've seen the rest of them, but they're nice. I like them. I like them a lot. And I can't wait to have them and to spam them in like raid messages and whatnot. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Hold on, let me bam. Wait, no, actually I wanna go back. And then yeah, 12 emotes. So what I bought was like a combo pack from a creator on Fiverr. I think they go by... They go by like 2 different names. One is Akaha, and the other is like Red Leaf Studio. But they have like a 12-pack that I bought. So I got 12 cool new emotes. One of them is animated. If you guys are in the Discord, you maybe saw the fancy bonk emote. The fancy bonk emote. Why isn't there a head pat redeem? Because I'm a slacker and I haven't freaking figured out how to use redeems with my VTube Studio yet. I have so many things to do. I still need to do my Ethereum application. And that's due like tomorrow. That's due tomorrow. I have you girls a little behind on some things that need some work. Wait, okay. Boom. I think you guys can see, right? You guys can see? I'm so excited to see this video. Also, but I guess I should make sure I have Krita open preemptively in case it comes up and we want to draw something. Because it always ends up that we like drawing things, I guess. I guess that's the way to explain it. We like drawing things. Nice little diagrams. Thank you for the nuts, Perry. What do you mean, please be responsible? Why do you make it sound... Why do you make it sound like I'm not responsible? Huh? Huh? I'm always responsible, and I meet all my deadlines, and I get healthy amounts of sleep, and I'd never do anything that would be considered irresponsible. Your girl is the perfect example of a reasonable, responsible adult human being. And there's nothing you can say that discredits that, okay? Hello, Perry. Hello. Happy to see you back. Stop doing all the work in the last hour. We're not going to talk about the work that I did or didn't do in the last hour. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to sit here and we're going to enjoy this beautiful Stuff Made Here video. Let me kill my background music first. Because he has excellent production quality and probably does not need my background music playing at the same time. Bum bum. Everyone, I hope you grabbed your popcorn. I hope you got your snackies. Lots of chips for all the chips we're probably going to see from his machines. Alright, let's see what he has in store for us. Wait, this is not... It says 100 plus parts and 45 hours of practice. But that's not what... I guess the thumbnails never say the same title as the videos, but I feel like that's not what the title was when I read it before. What are we watching this early? We're watching a video from my favorite YouTube creator, Stuff Made Here, Glance. And why do you say early? Wait, how early is it? How early is it there, Glance? How early is it? Did you wake up early to watch my stream? Like a good viewer? Like my favorite viewers? Glance probably has an alarm set that as soon as I start my stream, it just wakes him up and he's like, oh, it's time to open Bell's stream. Because the whole world centers around me. It's around me. And if you guys don't all have alarms that let you know when I'm streaming, then you're behind the game. And evolution is coming for you. Evolution is coming for you. You will not survive into the future. Reinvents push notifications? Wait, what do you mean push notifications? Also, Glance, if you... I hope... What do you... Oh yeah, Glance said almost 8 a.m. and I was like, almost 8 a.m.? It's it's something 15 according to my time. And then I realized India, I think, is on that weird time zone they're on a half hour different than the rest of the time zone. So I guess it's probably 7:45 there. Crazy. Time zones are weird. Time zones are silly. But anyway, let's see what we got.
Playing with my kids, and I did what dads do. I absolutely shredded them.
Guys, why do I feel like everyone else's dad is cool, and my dad was boring as fuck? I go in and I talk with some of my coworkers, and some of my coworkers are like, they're like old men, and they've got like kids, and they like play video games. They play video games. They're dads that are cool and hip, and they're like talking with other coworkers about like, oh yeah, this is how I built in my like Elden Ring run. You know, I was playing Fallout the other day. Blah blah blah. Why is my dad not that cool? My dad is boring as frick. My dad is boring as frick. And when I was a kid, my dad seemed like all he did was work and come home and watch TV, and that was it. That was it. Someone bulldozer the whole earth flat? Maybe it is flat, Glans. Maybe it's a conspiracy. The earth is a pizza. Mmm, delicious. That's why it has a crust. But anyway, that's everyone else's dad is always so hip, and then I think about my dad, and I'm like, why is Papa Bell a loser? Your dad is a master at wait, Brax. Very quickly, you mean like the table game, right? And when you say master, you mean like one of the people, they make like YouTube videos where they sink the entire thing in one go. Their opponent doesn't get a turn. Crazy. That's some crazy skill. I mean, my dad plays pool, and we had a pool table growing up, and I played pool, but I wouldn't say any of us was a master. We're like okay, you know? Okay. Average dad, do you? I mean, maybe it is that just the people I know have super awesome dads, and my dad was average. But it bothers me that everyone I know has an awesome dad, and my dad was average.
I was playing with my kids, and I did what dads do. I absolutely shredded
that
on my
poor
son's
little
bike.
bike.
His tiny bike made me think it'd be cool to have a really tiny bike. So I made this. It's pretty small. But is it the smallest bike? I could not get this idea out of my head. And I also had my wife taunting me.
Yeah, it seems like it could be smaller, though. You look like a circus freak.
Which led to an arms race of self-one-upmanship.
Okay, but like, do you think he has requirements to be able to ride these bikes? Because these bikes already look like they're not rideable. Like
So
this one, like there's no shot you ride this, right? How do you get onto this? How do you not kick your hand when you pedal? It could be smaller, mystery. I mean, do you hear that often? Do you hear that often? I mean, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing if they say it could be smaller.
This. It's pretty small. But is it the smallest bike? I could not get this idea out of my head.
Also, I like how it is a little seat. Even though there's 0% chance anyone's sitting on it, it's got this little tiny seat on it.
I also had my wife taunting me.
Yeah, it seems like it could be smaller, though. You look like a circus freak.
Which led to an arms race.
I feel like it'd be easier to just take out the chain. Why do you still have the chain? Like, why don't you could save space by just putting the pedal straight on the wheel, right? You'd lose all your mechanical advantage, but like that's a thing, isn't it?
Race of self-one-upmanship, making increasingly tiny bikes. I also really wanted to beat the world record, and I ended up making a bike so small it could fit in my pocket. This ended up being
the
really
handlebar is still
with a lot of
still
failures.
large.
I had to make and remake so many parts before I got this thing working. I wasn't even sure if I could physically ride this thing. It took weeks of practice and crashing.
I'm surprised that he got on that thing though. And it looks... Watching him fall on his ass like that is so...
which my wife found thoroughly entertaining, especially once I
It's
started
quite
trying
funny.
to hit jumps. So let's take a bad idea all the way to its logical conclusion and see if we can make the world's smallest bike and actually ride it. So let's start at the beginning.
He's going
I
up and
thought I
down
would be
ramps
only
and
making
shit.
one bike. All right. I want to make a tiny bike that's way smaller than this, but I also want it to be easy. So my design strategy is really focused on my water jet. It cuts almost anything with a supersonic stream of water and abrasive. I'm designing as many parts as possible to be 2D shapes that can be cut out of a sheet because it's fast and easy. The different pieces have little tabs that fit together like...
Guys, does this remind you of those little, like... The little, like, plastic I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking... I remember at summer camp, one of my friends had a game with, like, little plastic, like... They're, like... They come in, like, little plastic cards, but they're, like, little cutouts, and you assemble the cutouts into, like, little, like, pirate ships. But do you guys know what I'm talking about with the little models that are a bunch of 2D pieces that fit together just like this? This reminds me of that, where you just got, like, a little plastic flat things that just like sort of snap together. I remember playing with these, but I was so bad because I'd always break them because it's just little. It's this thin freaking piece of plastic, and sometimes the slits like don't fit perfectly, and you like try and slip it in, and then you're like forcing it, and it maybe bends a little, and then the next thing you know, it's your plastic broken. Because Belle can't fucking put things together right? How dare you, Ellie? How dare you? I am going to find you. And when I do, I'm going to make you eat your words. Because I'm going to show you pictures of Mama Belle and show you what a nice lady is and how mean you're being to this nice, innocent Mama Belle lady. It's gonna need to be a lot of pictures because, you know, she doesn't fit onto one.
like a puzzle, and then throw on a few welds and you've got a frame. There's some parts that seem more complicated, like the pedal.
Wait, also, the fact that he's cutting through... This looks like a really... Maybe it's just zoomed in. I guess it is just zoomed in, but this piece of metal looks like really thick to cut with a water jet.
But I was able to water jet out all the complex stuff and then do just a little bit of machining for bearings and other stuff. My wheel choice
looks pretty good, though.
Gave me a bit of a headache because these are scooter wheels. If I try to put a shaft through here and twist it, it's just gonna slip. So I had to machine them to accept this fancy little water jet part, which will accept a key that will lock it onto a shaft. Now, if the shaft turns, the wheel turns.
Wait. I missed the problem statement here. Why does he need to change this?
These are scooter wheels. If I try to put a shaft through here and twist it, it's just gonna slip.
Oh, he doesn't... I see. He doesn't want them on bearings. I was so confused. I was like, isn't it fine for it to just spin?
So I had to machine them to accept this fancy little water jet part, which will accept a key that will lock it onto a shaft. Now, if the shaft turns, the wheel turns. The bike will go forward if I pedal, but if I stop pedaling, I want it to keep rolling. Bikes usually do this by having a special gear between the pedals and the rear wheel, which if you pedal forward, it drives the wheel, but if you stop or pedal backwards, it skips. And
do you guys know how in the like older bikes they didn't have like the brake pads that we have, and there's some like, I've only heard of this, but I've heard that there's some system they had where instead of braking with like brake pads, what it was like you pedaled backwards. You pedal backwards to brake your bike, and I don't understand how that works. Do any of you know what I'm talking about? I know that's like supposed to be like the old way things were. That sounds sort of awful to me because I feel like when I am biking, sometimes when I'm coasting and I'm sort of bored, I want to pedal backwards just because it's like a fidget toy type deal, right? I just want to fidget, and sometimes that means, you know, pedaling backwards. What? Gojo, what do you mean you never had a bike? Did you really never have a bike? Gojo, what happened to your childhood? Where, did you ever learn to ride a bike? Do you need to be taught how to ride a bike? And I'm not trying to like dunk on you, but I'm so surprised that you... I feel like having a bike is a is a like classic childhood experience. You can cut through a lot with the water jet. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just sort of wasn't expecting it. Because I also feel like eventually, if the part is thick enough, right? When you water jet, like, you're probably gonna, like, as it's cutting deeper in, before it gets all the way through, you're gonna end up with, like, weird water recoil, and then that's gonna make your cuts, like, weird. I don't know. I'm just thinking, it seemed pretty thick, pretty chunky. Wait, you had a skateboard but not a bike? Interesting. Did you learn to do cool tricks on the skateboard? I'm very interested now, but I feel like you should try riding a bike sometime. It's an interesting experience, feeling how much faster you can go. It is weird. Is it weird when you were a kid, you tried to pedal backwards and it felt like you're reducing the speed? Yeah, maybe, Glans, you had one of those bikes that had the brakes when you pedaled backwards. I underestimate the power of water? Probably because I conquer water every day. I drink bottles and bottles worth of water every day. I am the master water conqueror. So if I can conquer the water and the water can conquer steel, that means I'm stronger than steel, right? Your girl's stronger than steel. Oh yeah. Anyway.
And it's basically a ratchet. Which
Just
is that
you doing
ticking
dumb
sound you
shit?
hear.
Mood.
There are bikes that don't do this called fixies, and people who hate their knees really like them. That special gear is called a free hub, and this bike is just barely big enough for me to use one in a standard chain, which makes my life a lot easier. We just gotta install them. But these bikes are a lot of work. Why am I making one big video when I can make 500 shorts? Hey guys, I made this quick short just to show you how to install a bottom bracket. You just do this. That's it. Thanks for watching.
Yes. The answer is always just take a mallet and go bang, 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 bang.
Standard chain, which makes my life a lot easier. We just gotta install them. But these bikes are a lot of work. Why am I making one big video when I can make 500 shorts? Hey guys, I made this quick.
Also, mood, because I feel like I need to work on shorts, because shorts are the meta now. Shorts are the meta for content creators, and I haven't made a short in like months. I have an idea for a short. Editing makes my soul die. But anyway, back to the video.
Quick short just to show you how to install a bottom bracket. You just do this. That's it. Thanks for watching. Maybe not. This bike is almost done. Just need the pedals and the chain. If you pedal, it goes forward. But if you stop pedaling, it coasts.
It still looks bike-like though, which is the good thing, right?
Ride this thing.
Eventually you end up with something so small that doesn't look like a bike, and you're like, should this even count? It has two wheels, but does that make it a bike, right?
If you said 0, you'd be
Ow.
right. I really thought my biking experience would help me, but it did not. I practiced every day for 5
Why does he not have knee pads? Chat.
experience would help me, but it did not.
Look at him.
Practiced
He's like totally gonna destroy his knees. He's gonna flop and land on his knees just like that. I mean, he landed on his hands here, but I feel like he's gonna get freaking wrecked.
day for 5 days. But then
that
there
was
this
pretty good,
point
though.
where it just clicked.
How does it work?
Smooth as butter, baby.
Finally.
How does it work?
Yes. Woo.
Balancing must be so
much harder to
difficult.
ride than I was expecting. I really thought I'd just be able to get on.
It's Nico kneecaps. Yes, Glams. Exactly. Yeah, and I agree, Perry. I feel like the unicycle, when you have like a bigger system, it feels like you have like a little bit more time to react with the sway. This little thing, I feel like the second you just a little bit off, you're like, bleh, and you're gone. You're donezo. You're Dunyan rings, right? But is it hard to balance on a bike? I mean, if you're going slow, it is. Also, bikes, I haven't talked about this yet, but bikes are designed very specifically in a way where they self-stabilize. Ooh, maybe it is time for the drawing. I set up Krita, but I forgot my drawing tablet. 1 second. 1 second. Ah! Ba. Okay, are you guys still here? Did everyone leave in my short 10 seconds grabbing my drawing tablet? I hope not. Probably. Yep. Gojo left. Gojo left. You guys see? Boop, boop. Okay, so, I probably won't go over, like, all the fanciness of what happens here. But, I'll give you the TLDR in that, like... rest in peace, people who are viewing in the dark and suddenly got a flashbang by white screen. Wait, this side, okay. When you have a bike, right, when you have, like, the big physical bikes, they've got, like, their frame and the wheels. And there's a Veritasium video about this too. But they actually have, like, a really specific geometry for their wheels where it's not actually, this is not, if I remember right, it's been, like, a little bit since I studied this. This is not like a straight line, straight to the center of the wheel, where your handle is, right? Because your handle's like this. What it actually is there's your bike, your back wheel. It's got ever so slightly, like, a curve. I'm super exaggerating. A curve that brings it forward. And that way, the center of your front wheel is, like, slightly forwards of this line. And what that does is it makes it so if your bike leans, right? If you lean, like, to the left or the right, it causes your front wheel, the steering wheel, to turn the direction that you're leaning. And that's part of why your bikes are so stable, is because they've been designed like this, specifically so if you start leaning, the bike, like, tries to get under itself again, right? That's part of what makes them as stable as they are, and why, like, you can have bikes feel very stable. Like, you can like, roll a bike without a rider, and it will, like, sort of keep its wheels under itself. But we can watch that Veritasium video after this. I think it's a super cool idea. And I have, like, some thoughts about, like, explaining this more in depth in, like, an actual lesson. I sort of forgot it. I sort of forgot that was one of my, like, planned lesson topics. But I might explain it more in, like, an actual lesson, like, in one of the future Teaching Tuesdays. I think that sounds like a great plan. Once you start making them, you have to stick with one type of content, because if you try something different, YouTube won't even recommend. I don't know, Glans. I don't know. I'm not even worried about, like, what kind of. I want something, anything that will spread me to more viewers. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the topic. I think it's kind of crazy that he can ride this bike, especially because it looks like he does not have that like, self-stabilizing geometry on his. Perry, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think I almost don't want to know what you're talking about. Anyway, back to the video.
On it and ride it. Now I just want to see what my wife thinks.
What's with the little seat?
It's a bike for someone with a very small butt, long legs, and huge feet.
That fit you really well then.
She toasted him. She freaking wrecked him. She's like, yeah, that's perfect build for you. And the look into the camera. The look into the camera kills me because she knows what she did. she knows what she. I feel like I'm watching The Office.
Has science gone too far? Here we go.
Looks like what a
That's
monkey
someone-
would ride at the circus.
Dismount is hard. It's as smooth as we're gonna get. What do you think?
I like the chonky wheels, and it seems like it could be smaller.
Your
Damn.
face could be smaller.
Guys, now you know it's not just me with this horrible third grader sense of humor. I think this is maybe this is just engineer humor, right? Just the Uno reverse card. Your face could be smaller. Your mom could be smaller.
Hypothetical. I haven't thought that about you. I hate to say it, but she's really not wrong. You ever see those vacuum seal bags where you put a pillow in it and it shrinks down to the size of a small wafer?
It's just cold, guys.
This is kind of like that. There's a lot of air we could squeeze out by making everything smaller. I was trying to figure out how small I should go, and I came across the Guinness record for the world's smallest bike, which they say is 8.4 centimeters long. And notably, they don't seem to care about height.
Wait, these look like they're mass produced. Someone makes these commercially. That means there are people who buy these commercially. Who buys these? Who buys these?
Say is 8.4 centimeters long. And notably, they don't seem to care about height. I mean, just look at this bike. And I think the reason for this is you just can't go below a certain height without your hands intersecting your feet. So what I'm gonna do is take the record size, subtract 1 millimeter from it, and that's my target.
Yes, that's the secret. You set your standard as low as you can, but barely beating the other guy.
I don't see any good reason to overexert myself here. World's smallest is world's smallest, even if it's only by a millimeter. Just to see what I was dealing.
Also, why is it really just the length? Could you make it like normal height and have your handlebar go all the way up to like basically make it a scooter, right? And like your handlebar just sticks all the way up to like your waist level, so you don't have to be all hunched over. Cause it looked like it was really bad for his back the way he was riding it before.
With, I took a bike and scaled it down to 8.4 centimeters long, and it is a lot smaller than I was expecting. This bike is smaller than the wheel of the last bike that I did. It is gonna be very difficult to fit everything into this size. I guess that's why it's the world record. So it took a bit of finessing, but here's what I came up with. Like the other bike, I was able to make a lot of parts on the water jet, but when you go really small, you have to pack more functionality into fewer parts, so there's more CNC stuff. This is the frame, basically the main body of the bike, and this is the fork, which holds the front wheel. There was no room to fit.
Those wheels made out of metal, I feel like that's probably awful to ride on. Like, you feel every little bit of gravel. I mean, I get... Especially with such a small diameter wheel, because like the bigger wheels are supposed to like, you know, absorb shock more, right? But this little tiny wheel, and it's made of freaking metal, so it doesn't absorb anything. Like, you feel every little like gravel as you ride over it, as you're like tick 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 tick.
Normal bike components, so I had to make my own stuff. Making the gears is pretty easy, but how to make it coast was not obvious. Remember, a normal bike uses a free hub like this, which is just way too big. I eventually found a one-way bearing. They let a shaft rotate freely in one direction, but if you turn it the other way, it locks up. Putting this all together, we have the
I wonder
pedals
how that
going
works.
into the one-way bearing. If you pedal forward, it locks up and spins a gear, and you go forward. If you stop pedaling, the wheel spins the chain the other way, and the one-way bearing spins freely, and the bike coasts. And then the last thing we need is some tires. So we're gonna cast some wheels. I made a 3D printed mold that fits around my wheels. We're
What women who want 6 foot tall boyfriends think that short guy? Yes, yes. I expect all of my all of the short guys that are on Tinder. I know they're riding these things around. Anyone below 6 foot rides one of the 5'11" guys probably ride this around when they bike.
We're using a 2-part polyurethane to get a nice hard rubber. This is a pretty cool process.
Did you guys hear it?
On my wheels. We're using a 2-part polyurethane to get a nice hard rubber. This is a pretty cool process that works surprisingly well. Nice.
Okay, so they're
It
not
kinda
metal
looks
wheels
like
now.
a giraffe. And even though it looks huge, it has the same footprint.
I see it.
as my
I see the
prototype.
giraffe.
Ah, I love it. It's so tiny. I should be able to just drive it away. I had a lot of practice on the other bikes, so this should be easy.
I feel like controlling
go.
your feet to move that little is very difficult.
All my practice on the other bike did not translate to this bike. I don't know why, but this thing is just totally different to ride. I think it's going to take a lot of practice. And that got me seriously wondering if I want to spend a bunch of time learning to ride a bike that's 1 millimeter smaller than the record. And then my wife said, "Oh, I thought it was going to be smaller." Which is
The wife is the killer. Wife made here. Wife made here is the goat. The ultimate goat. She just comes in and just roasts him no matter what he does, no matter what he achieves. And that's exactly what you should expect. If you get married, guys, if you get married, just know, no matter what you achieve, if you get a Nobel Peace Prize, you get a Nobel Prize for anything, and you're married, when you bring it up to your wife, she'll be like, you could have gotten 2. Oh yeah, you're officially salaried at like $1 million a year? Why not $1 billion? Why aren't you Elon Musk? You're 6 foot? Why aren't you 6'1"?
just sealed the deal. I'm done. So all my talk about beating a record by 1 millimeter being cool was just coping. It is way cooler to crush a record. We're gonna go as absolutely tiny as we possibly can. I was initially thinking 2 times smaller, then I thought, why not? Just go for 3. And
There's
that
no way
sounded
it's
great
rideable,
until I printed out a scale model. It is smaller than I was expecting. The wheelbase on this is about the size of one of the wheels on the last bike. And remember, we only care about the length between the wheels. It's gonna have to be taller to be able to...
So I do wonder, like, why does the little bike he's holding not count, right? Could he just make that, but the wheels spin, and then that would count? Does it have to be rideable? Because there's, like, no shot anyone's riding something that small, right? That's something you've probably heard, isn't it? No shot anyone's riding something that small. Comment. You hear that every Friday night, I'm sure. No shot anyone's riding anything that small.
have cranks and handlebars that I can actually hold. My gut reaction was that this would be impossible, but I think there might be a way. So here's what I'm thinking. A normal bike has the pedals between the wheels, but if we push them up, we can shrink the wheels down and squeeze them right up against each other. And then delete the vestigial seat. Squeezing all this in right up against each other.
This
and then delete the vestigial
really,
seat.
now it looks like a giraffe, right? Now I feel like it's really giraffe looking. We should call this the tiny giraffe bike. Also, guys, I feel like I sort of want a mascot, and giraffes are my favorite animals. How do you guys feel about a giraffe mascot? I don't know anything about what it would look like, though. I want something cute, but a cute little giraffe? Long neck bell? Guys, have you guys seen Camila's new model has the long neck feature? Her new chibi gets a... it's like her head just extends like 3 feet off her body, and she like can wave it around. Ah.
Squeezing all this in means some pretty complicated CNC parts. Normally I'm doing 3-axis CNC milling, which means a machine that can cut laterally
Is
and
he
vertically.
about to
Which
introduce
works
the
great if you want a hole in the
5-axis?
top, but if I want a hole in the side, I have to take the part out and rotate it. And if you want features on all the sides, you're going to be moving the part a lot. And if you want to machine something in this direction, it's possible, but you're in for a bad time. So I think it's time to pull out the big guns.
Huh? Fancy? Oh
This
god.
is a 5-axis mill. A 5-axis machine is just like a 3-axis, except it can rotate the part in any direction. That's why it's 5 instead of 3. Which means it can machine on this side, and this side, and this side, on this random angle, or even all of the angles at the same time.
Has technology gone too far, guys? Like, at what point do we stop? I can't wait to see the crazy things in the future. Because, like, if you had told someone, I think even, like, 30 years ago, you had told someone we were going to have this. 30 years ago was what? 94? Do you think people would have expected this, like, to be something we'd be doing in 1994? Computer-controlled mills that do this shit? You don't know what that machine is, but you like it, Ash? I bet you like it. It just looks like it goes in funny directions and does funny motions, which I can see how you'd like. Can go any which direction you want. They had them in 1994? Yeah, I'm not sure I believe you. Because I feel like 1994, like, that was when they were, like, running, like the computers then were not even, like, remotely close to the same as the computers today, right? And this has to be computer controlled. Like, I can't imagine someone, like, manually controlling this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But, like, this... I feel like this would be mind-blowing for 1994 people. Yeah. But three axis is nowhere even remotely close to the same as this. I feel like, you know, it's really obvious to think, oh yeah, it go left, it go right, it go up, it go down. But like when you start doing crazy stuff and you're like right, and then you rotate along another axis and you're like, you know. Is it? Sorry, my playing with the VTube Studio model is so funny. The robots that help with brain surgery? Yeah, exactly, Ash. Like crazy stuff. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I was finding my windows because my VTube Studio is normally in the back, and when I brought it up, it like I lost the windows. Thank you for throwing things at me. They did surgery on a grape? I knew this, but I also feel like surgery on the grape is like... That's one of those things you look at and you're like, why did we invest the technology to do this when it seems like it'd be easier to do surgery on the grape by hand? I can peel a grape easy. I can peel a grape no hands. Put that thing in my mouth and I got and I can peel the grape. I can do all sorts of fancy stuff with my mouth and teeth. I retract that statement.
Prove it to me, Bell winking face.
I retract that statement. I can keep my teeth. Thanks.
So cool. This is super useful for the tiny bike because
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This legit. It looks like we're making the stuff from like video games and like Transformers.
So cool.
Right?
This
Look at this and tell me that this isn't some like Tesseract shit from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
is super useful for the tiny bike.
You don't have to redact it from me, Ash. You don't have to redact it from me, Ash. Actually, I mean, maybe I should be saying the opposite. It's fine for it to be redacted from me, Ash, because I already know it. I already know it. Remember I was there last night? Right after I visited your mom's house. Later, Glands. Later.
Because I had to fit so many things into just a couple tiny pieces, and with this, I can pretty much just design it however is best for the bike, and it should be able to make it. And all I can think about is all the things that I'll be able to do with this for future projects. It's going to unlock some pretty interesting stuff. So if that's interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe.
Guys, when people say don't forget to like and subscribe or whatever, do you find that annoying? Is that like if I have that in my videos, I feel like I'm annoying my viewers. But I feel like every video I see has that stuff, and I'm like, not really that annoying, right? But you tune it right out, and when you're out the other, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Some things you just like, you get used to ignoring. Like before I had ad blocker, when I had to watch YouTube ads, I'd just turn it on and I'd zone out, waiting for that like skip button to show up.
It is so satisfying to press a button and then have finished parts like this.
I also feel like that's a drastic like, don't you have to like program these machines? Isn't that like a big work? That's like why machinists like get paid pretty well nowadays, because it's not like you just put in the step file and then suddenly the machine's like, oh, part done. I don't know. Maybe that is how it is, Mystery. Maybe I would assume Mystery would know better, you know, as a machine shopist. But I thought there was still like, of course the machine does all the cut, but you have to like sort of tell it what to do in some way. Program it in assembly? God, no. It's like a puzzle? Yeah, that sounds about right.
There's a tiny little frame. It's a little chunky, but it's the only way I could make it strong enough to hold me. This is the belt drive system, and the rear wheel.
That is something I did want to say, is like, for any of these like micro bikes to hold up his weight is kind of crazy. Because I assume he probably doesn't necessarily make things out of the strongest materials, because, you know, those are harder to machine, but I don't know.
Wheel has a one-way bearing in it so that it can coast. It's kind of weird looking. This is the front and rear wheels, and you steer like this.
It really reminds me of a giraffe now,
by
guys.
This belt via the pedals, and this long stick is what holds the handlebars. It's the teeny tiniest little itty bitty bike. The height of the handlebars I need to clear my feet really drive home how absolutely tiny this bike is. So there's two questions.
It's the giraffe,
under my
for
weight?
sure.
And if it doesn't, can I actually ride it? There's only one way to find out.
I also, guys, you see this little rubber belt? I feel like there's no way that, you know, supports the amount of stress it needs to for him to, like, you know, actually ride this thing, because you have to deliver force through that. And he looks pretty heavy compared to this little tiny strap of rubber.
It's a little itty bitty bike. The height of the handlebars I need to clear my feet really drive home how absolutely tiny.
Yeah, Ash? Yeah? Are you also really large compared to a tiny rubber?
This bike is. So there's two questions. Will it collapse under my weight? And if it doesn't, can I actually ride it? There's only one way to find out. All right, here we go. Definitely hard to balance on.
Oh,
That's a very unfortunate.
oh, that looks so painful. That looks so painful. Rest in peace, Knuckles.
Failure mode. Let's try again.
the gloves now. The gloves now. I don't even feel like they protect him because they don't have like they don't look like they have like the hard plastic like the motorcycle. Rest in peace. Oh, rip non-subscribers, rip ads. I guess we'll wait for a second, wait for those stupid ads to pass. Probably just sit here and chuckle at silly, stupid condom jokes and whatnot. I don't know, Ash. I don't know. What's an ad? Not something you have to deal with, cause you're a cultured Breakable PE subscriber. Cultured Breakable PE Cultured Breakable PE subscriber. Based. Super based. Guys, I feel like we say based and it's always in a connotation. But the
Number
other
1
day,
Breakable_PE fan.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have such a dedicated fan, Ash. Forgot to resub? Wait. What do you mean, Rax? What are you implying? What do you... What starts with SCR? Scrabble? Scrumptious? Scrutinize? Scrape? Scry? What did you say, Ellie? What did you say? Bell PP? It's not gonna be Bell PP. It's gonna be the other part of my name. If you say it again, it's gonna be Break PP. I am going to make sure you feel the wrath of Break PP if you say that ever again. Ever again. You're not gonna like it. I feel like such a dumbo. Feel like such a dumbo when I chat with you guys. You guys bring out such degenerate degenness out of me. I promise. Thank you for throwing stuff at me. Thank you for the nuts and the other stuff, including the bear and the bike and the capybara. What do you mean I can't blame you? I'll blame you for what? What do you... No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You leave her out of this. You leave her out of this. Mama Bell doesn't deserve this. Mama Bell doesn't deserve this. She's already struggling with enough. She's struggling enough. Okay? It's enough that she has to deal with all that weight on her shoulders. Cause it's a lot of weight. Okay, I think ads done. Back to the video.
Did you hear that? Here it is again.
Harry, do you enjoy suffering? Do you enjoy suffering? I mainly say this. Because I think you should pay attention to no one's boobs besides mine. Ever. Only mine. Sorry. Back to... Damn it, Max. This is the community we're turning into. This is the community that I bossed.
Anime girl booba tea.
Suffering watching this stream. I'm glad you suffered, Gojo. I'm glad you get appropriate dose of suffering. Cause life is pain. Life is pain, Teo. maybe some of your fault, Ash. Maybe some of your fault. I think you as a community as a whole are to blame. But anyway.
That's the sound of
Tiny-
a tire giving up its soul. Finding something that
Oh.
wouldn't immediately break was a real challenge, because I only have about a millimeter of space. I eventually discovered that gaffer's tape works really well, but then I discovered who
Guys, what is gaffer's tape? Hold on, I need to Google. Gaffer's tape. What is gaffer's tape for? And why did it show up? Why is the first thing that showed up for shopping? Works like duct tape, but leaves no residue. Thank you. Thank you for throwing things at me. Thank you. Thank you for the nuts. Thank you for the nuts. Okay. Gaffer's tape is like duct tape, but leaves no... Isn't duct tape supposed to not leave residue? Is duct tape supposed to... Is any tape supposed to leave residue? I feel like they're all supposed to not leave residue. Whatever.
whoever designed these pedals was a real moron. You can't use
IDK, I
them without...
think I wanted to leave marks.
We can make it happen.
your foot hitting the crank and jamming everything up. And I tried every shoe.
Why does he have so many?
Leave them without your foot
I
hitting
feel
the
like a
crank
lot of
and
these
jamming
shoes
everything
are like the same thing. Why are they? Chat.
And I tried
Why are
every
all the shoes? Why are they all Velcro strap?
shoe.
He has. Okay, we need to
Use them
count
without your
these.
foot hitting the
We need to
crank and
count
jamming
these.
everything up.
Okay. 1, 2,
And I tried
3, 4,
every shoe.
5, 6. 6 pairs. 6 pairs of these Velcro strap shoes, and then 2 pairs with real late. Do you guys use these Velcro strap shoes? They look so ugly. They look so ugly. Also, Ash, I'm game. Anime Expo or Off Kai, you know. I'm game. What do you mean it's practical, Mystery? What's practical is not looking like a Goomba. all of these shoes look
Can't
very.
use them without your foot hitting the crank and jamming everything up. And
They all look very funny to me.
I tried every shoe.
And I don't understand why he needs so many. If you need like these goofy like looking clown shoes for something, I get it, right? But why do you have 6 pairs of them? And only 2 pairs of normal looking shoes.
And even no shoes. But the pedals are
That looks painful as fuck, by the way. Riding this thing with no shoes sounds super painful.
just too small. So I went back and made some human-sized pedals for it. I was feeling pretty good until my worst fear happened.
Problematic.
The belt is skipping. If you put too much force through these belts, the teeth can skip. I think what's happening is I'm hitting a little tiny bump, and the bike has to lift my whole body weight.
That's what I was saying, guys. I was saying with these little tiny ass freaking wheels, you're gonna feel every goddamn bump.
Which makes way higher force, and it skips. I think we pretty much have to fit a chain in here. So what we're gonna do is
I feel like he didn't need to use a chain. I feel like what he could have done. Boo 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 boo. Do 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 do. What he could have done is he could have, you've got your like fancy little like belt drive gear here. and your belt goes over it, right? And the problem is, like, when it skips, like, for a brief moment, your belt, like, gets some separation, right? It, like, slips out of the little cracks in the gear. I feel like all he had to do was he had to put, like, another... Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, because maybe it would have been difficult. He just had to put, like, another wheel, another roller on the outside that pushes in, right? And it just pushes the belt up against the little, the gear thing, right? And all you do is you spring load that shit, so it just pushes it up again. I think that would have been fine. But I guess we'll see what he does. You're right, Ash, I am a genius. I'm the best. Bell PE is the best ever. You ain't never seen someone like me. I'm the best ever.
Gorge the rear wheel, which will make more room for a chainring to fit.
It looks so comical.
This
Also, his animations are so
will
clean.
gorge the rear wheel, which will make more room for a chainring to fit. This will make the bike about half the size of the record instead of a third, but what else am I gonna do? And
You could do what I told you to do. Why do people never listen to me? Even though it's definitely a video and there's no way he could hear me. I feel like people never listen to me when I tell them things. And then 2 weeks later, when our project has gone into the shit show and our schedule is messed up and we're over budget, then they're like, oh, maybe we should have tried Bell's solution. No, those old frickin' white men don't want to take Bell's suggestion, and then they suffer. But anyway, well, guys, tweet or comment at StuffMadeHere. Comment at StuffMadeHere, link my video, and maybe he'll listen to me. Don't do that. But because he'll never hear my suggestion. But you heard it here first. I had a suggestion that could have made it work. And of course, no one wants to listen to poor old Bell PE. The voices in my head aren't people. You know, Rex, in a way, you're just a voice in my head. The voices. I think I have that emote on my 7TV.
And of course, this means we get to redesign and remake most of the bike. All right, the chain fits and doesn't hit the ground, and I guess the bike is doing a reverse.
That back wheel being so comically larger than the front wheel.
Carolina squat.
You're right. I'm not an old white man, and that's why they don't listen to me. The frickin' You know, on my first day, I was like, I met someone going into my office building, and he was like, I've never seen you before. Are you new? And I'm like, yeah, it's my first day. And he's like, oh, do you work in finance? And I was like, did you just assume that I work in finance because I'm a fucking girl? I mean, I didn't say that, but I work for an engineering firm, guys. You should just assume that everyone's an engineer, you goddamn old freaking white people. I think he noticed, though. I think he saw the look on my face when he said it, and he's like, oh, not finance.
I can't balance it all, but it almost kind of works. But doesn't something look a little off?
Oh god, the cantilevers are deflecting.
Oh, this is bad. So remember how I made bigger pedals? Because they stick out further, they generate a lot more twisting force on the shaft, and yeah. I think my only option is to redesign and remake a bunch of these parts so that I can fit a thick crankshaft
Exactly, Ash. Exactly.
in here. This is the last thing I feel like doing. I really don't want to do this, but I want it to work properly, so what am I going to do? Let's make some parts.
Right? It thick? What do you mean thick, Mr. E? What do you think? Do you mean the pedals? The new pedals need to be thick.
We get to remake the frame, the fork, the axle, the cranks, the gears, the space.
Also, guys, I do want, because for some reason I don't understand why the metric for this is just the only metric he's talked about is that, like, if this is the bike, right? The only one he's cared about is this distance. This distance, I guess we can call it L. But he hasn't, there's no mention of caring about the height. And there's no mention of caring about, like, the width, like, the thickness of the bike. So could he, like, if we make, like, a top-down view, could he make one that's, like, really, really technically short? Right? But has just, like, thick as fuck wheels? Really thick chonker wheels? Thicker than your mom? And then it'd just be, like, really wide? Really wide. Really wide. I wanted, what was going on in my head there was I wanted to, like, to do that thing where some VTubers have that, like, weird distortion in VTube Studio that stretches them out, and if I could make my model really wide for a second, I would, but I don't know what filter it is. So just imagine my face getting wider. How? Ash, I am a cultured individual, and I laugh at things that are funny. Okay? Okay? And I'm a cultured individual, and I know how to say things that are funny. So it's only appropriate that I laugh. Okay? Okay? Like your face? I mean, your face doesn't make me laugh. Your face inspires a different emotion in me.
Yeah, this was a major oversight. Old shaft, new shaft.
Damn. That's a thick boy.
I don't think that's gonna bend.
Famous last word. I don't think it's gonna bend. Famous last words. I bet you. Actually, I won't bet you, but I feel like it's still gonna bend. We're gonna see in like a couple minutes. He's gonna be like, "Well, I thought it wasn't gonna bend, but it bent."
Now that is one beefy little man.
Ash, what are you talking about? We're gonna talk about this later in DMs.
But I still can't ride, for a reason that I really wish I would have noticed before I remade everything. When you pedal the bike, it tilts side to side. When I put the big pedals on, it can't tilt as far, and there's just not enough clearance now. I even tried making really short cranks that would give me more clearance, but I don't think there's any way to hack around this. We just have to get them up higher, which means we get to redesign and remake everything. I'm just gonna give you a taste. This is the new frame. It raises the cranks about 20 millimeters up.
How many redesigns has he done?
I call it the tall boy. We've modified this so much, it's basically unrecognizable from where we started. So we need to see where we stand in relation to the record. 5.3 centimeters. 1.6 times smaller than the record.
It's so funny.
I'm okay with. And here's a size comparison to essentially the current world record. The thing to remember is that even though this has big handlebars and big pedals, that's just because I have big hands and feet. The actual bike is very tiny, and that's what makes it so hard to ride. So the bike seems to work, but it's still not clear if I can ride it.
It looks so dangerous.
So much worse than the first bike. What makes it so hard is just geometry. When you push the cranks down, they extend past the front wheel, and it tips the bike forward. And then because the wheels are so close together on this bike, it really can't resist twisting like this. So I can't pull my feet through the bottom of the stroke because it'll just twist the bike out from under me.
Ooh.
I spent over a week practicing.
I feel like he probably has done a lot of those, like land on your knuckles or like your knees or step on your fingers with this. Rip fingies! Rip fingies!
Times per day. I have 2 terabytes of footage of me failing to ride this thing. But at some point,
Huh?
it kind of clicked.
Huh?
I'm still not very good, and my feet hit the ground a lot. I have a really hard time going more than a few feet. It's also really hard to stop. But this thing is totally rideable.
Totally rideable, he says. Not being able to ride it more than a couple
Not
feet.
perfect, but I think it's as good as I'm gonna physically be able to do right now.
Now all I want to know is what my wife thinks.
She's gonna roast the shit out of it.
I thought you were making a bike, not a scooter.
This doesn't look like a scooter. All right, here we go. Still getting the hang of it. Ugh. A through F.
So this is the final product?
C+.
It's the
Oof.
world's smallest bike.
You couldn't really ride it.
I'm working on it. Are you getting paid off by some competitor?
Big bike.
Ellie, is that what you tell all the girls? It's average. It's average. We need to give you that challenge where you can't see the tape measure and be like, pull out 6 inches. And then you pull out like 3. Ah.
What is an A?
Take it off a jump.
It has metal wheels.
So?
That'd be the last thing.
Can you imagine trying to jump this? I want you guys to recognize when he's riding it, right?
Scooter?
It's
Thought you were-
it's
Oh,
like
Not perfect.
Stop.
lost
I have a really hard-
efficiency, right? Because he moves his feet more than the bike travels along the ground, right? So he's actually moving slower than like it. Normal bike, you pedal your feet and your feet move like a foot, and then the bike moves like 3 because the wheel is bigger than what you pedal. But this is the opposite. The wheel's smaller. So when he moves his feet like 3 inches, the bike only moves 1 inch. Really, really inefficient. What do you mean gotta work with what you got, Gojo? That's why we have, you know, we have fancy technology nowadays. We have cool gadgets and toys that make us able to do things that we couldn't normally. You know what I'm saying? That's why he bought the fancy 110,000 5-axis machine that goes that all directions. You know, sometimes you just need, you know, some mechanical supplements to augment your abilities. I did choose violence, Ash. I always choose violence. Violence is in my blood. It's in my blood. Just that it's there as much as engineering.
A through F. What would you give this baby?
But I feel like a C here is maybe
It's the world's
Mother.
C plus.
smallest.
Mother what? Mother what? Don't you mean mommy? Anyway.
Bike.
You couldn't really ride it.
I'm working on it.
And how dare you say it's built for towing, Mystery? That thing's not towing anything. That thing's not
Are you
towing
getting
anything.
paid off by some competitor?
Big bike.
Big bike. The opposite of little bike.
What is an A?
Take it off a jump.
It has metal wheels.
So?
That'd be the last thing the bike ever did.
Well, and there's your C+.
What if I take the first bike the big one off the jump. They give me an A.
Can give you an overall
That's
A.
that's cheating.
Alright, well, I just gotta find a jump of some kind. Some of the stuff that I make might seem like magic. Like, how does the moving hoop know where to go? But it's not magic, it's science. I've spent a lot of time learning stuff, which is what enables me to make stuff.
Here's the
So if
ad.
you're interested in learning technical stuff so you can make stuff too, check out this video sponsor, Brilliant. I like to describe Brilliant
Brilliant
as a tool
sponsor
that's
for
really
Breakable
good at
when?
taking technical information
Sponsor
and
me
getting it
when?
into your brain. It works by taking a technical topic and breaking it down into a series of bite-sized lessons. So let's say you wanted to learn vector math. This is something that I use all the time. It's actually how the moving hoop knows where to go.
There's a whole set of lessons on this. They work by teaching you the theory and then having you work examples. The lessons are also interactive and have you solving actual problems.
So you're learning by doing, which is just the best way to learn.
And then the lessons are the right size to do 1 or 2 a day.
Which makes it very easy to learn consistently, which is huge. I used to try to cram textbooks, doesn't work.
Now I spend 30 minutes a day learning new stuff.
And it is shocking how much you can learn if you do this consistently. And they have so much stuff to learn. I mean, just look at all this. It's like every kind of math, computer science, machine learning, data science, a ton of stuff you used to have to go to college for. Not anymore.
Do you guys think college is worth it? Because he's sort of right in that, like, it seems like nowadays you can learn everything on the internet. But I liked college. I'm sort of sad because I do feel like it probably maybe is not necessary. It's not necessarily worth it. Rex, you're just rubbing your free college in our face, huh? Huh? Rubbing your free college in our face? Well, congrats. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I definitely didn't pay a crazy amount out my ass for it. On the fence about it? Yeah, me too. Thank you for throwing things at me.
So if you're looking to level up your problem solving,
Some people won't hire you without a degree. Yeah, I mean, modern struggles. Modern struggle. Free college game? You bastard.
abilities, check out Brilliant. I've used it a ton, it works great, and you can try it for free for 30 days. Just go to brilliant.org/StuffMadeHere. You can also click the link in the description, and you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. And that's it. Thank you, Brilliant, for sponsoring this video, and I hope you check it out and get to...
Do you think it's allowed to do Brilliant, like, courses on stream? I feel like that could be sort of cool, but I also... Is that some sort of, like, theft or something? Would I get in trouble? Because that's, like, technically sharing their course information.
experience the
know.
joy of learning.
I don't know.
All right, it's jumping time.
This is the ramp I crashed on.
Oh, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. This thing is going to kill him.
Driveway, so I should be able to crash again.
And his wife just wants to watch. She's like, ah, yeah. Here comes the life insurance money.
Which foot do I lead with?
I'm nervous.
All right, here we go.
She told him to do it. Oh.
That was close. Whoa, okay.
Oh, he made it. He made it.
Pretty good.
That was a land.
My dad would die doing this.
Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
I get an A.
A.
Ow. Ow, the butt bruising. The butt bruising. Has Brilliant really been doing things for a decade? I sort of agree, Gojo, because the degree is more than just the knowledge, right? In some ways, like, degrees and GPA are like They're verification that you can manage your time, right? That's why GPA really matters, because like you having a good GPA doesn't mean you know the things that your workplace is gonna need you to know. But it means that you can like manage your time appropriately to learn what you need to and like not die and not, waste your time not learning. I don't know. There's a big time management part to it. Anyway, how did you guys like the video? I'm sort of surprised that he ended with what he did. I feel like maybe I'm like the wife and I'm like, could be smaller. But I feel like he probably still could have made some changes that might have made it better. Did you guys? How do you guys feel? Do any of you guys feel like you could have ridden that bike? That bike looked awful to ride. I mean, I guess that's just bound to happen with like something so tiny. But do. Okay, we still have some time. You guys want to watch the Veritasium video on the bikes?
Most people don't.
Put a motor on it, mystery. The motor would be bigger than the bike. It'd be pretty funny though. Normal racks Friday night. Tiny? What? It was massive. What are you talking about? I've heard that one before. I've heard that one before. Fort 9 has a great video on bikes, how bikes steer too.
Don't
Interesting.
know how bicycles
I've never heard of Fort 9 before.
actually work. So we modified this bike to prove it. This video is sponsored by KiwiCo. More about them at the end of the show.
When you're riding a bike and you want to turn left, I think most people just imagine you turn the handlebars to the left. This is a bike to test whether that is true, and it's made by my friend Rick here, and he's got a radio controller that allows
I love all the protective gear he's wearing compared to what StuffMadeHere wore.
him to lock out the steering to one side. So what he's
I
going to
feel
do
like
is, as I'm biking,
I
he's
feel
gonna
like Veritasium's all his protective gear makes me feel like he's like about to go into some war. He's like an Avenger.
pick whether I can turn either to the left or to the right. So go for it.
I'm giving it a left turn. It pulls the pin out, but you can see that you can still fully steer after I've pulled the pin out. I've armed it. There's
Okay.
where it locks.
Okay,
Now that's when your LED comes on. That just says turn that way.
turn left.
Yeah,
And if I try to turn right,
can't.
I can't. And
Right.
if I try to turn left,
You can.
I can't. So the question is, can I successfully execute this left-hand turn? Should we give it a shot? I mean, he's not going
You've
to
seen
tell me
this one,
whether it's
Rex?
left or right, so I have to look at the LED to know which way I can still turn.
You let me know when you're ready.
This is
Okay.
also like, there's some others I talked about, like the design of bikes, but there's some interesting like control system ideas here in the way that it turns. I think you'll see it later.
No! That was meant to be a turn to the right, but there was no chance in hell.
Left. Right.
All right. Left. Right. God.
If you look closely, you can see the problem. Here, I'm trying to turn right, but steering that way puts me off balance. If you could ride this bicycle, you would find it's impossible to turn left without first steering right, and it's impossible to turn right without first steering left. This seems wrong. I think most people believe you turn a bike simply by pointing the handlebars in the direction you want to go. After all, this is how you drive a car. Point the front wheels any direction you
It's such a cute little car. It's such a. This is me rolling on my way to steal your girl. Roll up in this thing to pick up all the bitches.
like, and the car just goes that way. But the difference with a bicycle is steering doesn't just affect
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Look out for this thing, Ash.
the direction you're headed, it also affects your balance. Imagine you want to make a right turn, so you steer the handlebars to the right. What you've done is effectively steered the bike out from under you, so now you're leaning to the left. And the ground puts a force on the bike to the left, so the only way not to fall is to steer the bike to the left. You have made a left turn. If you really wanted to turn right, you first have to counter steer to the left, so you can lean right into the turn. This is something anyone who rides a bike knows intuitively, but not explicitly.
Turn left.
Film someone riding a bike towards you and tell them which direction to turn, and you will find they counter steer without even thinking about it.
Hard left.
I totally
When
forgot
you're
about this
riding
part.
a bike, it's exactly the same as what we call an inverted pendulum, or balancing a broomstick on your hand. If I'm balancing it and I just start walking toward you, it will always fall away from you. If I want to walk toward you, it's easy enough to do, and people inherently know how to do it. If I pull it backward, I can now start walking that way. I have to initiate the lean to turn into it.
If you want to move the pendulum somewhere, you've
Did he? Chat, did you hear that? He said pendulum.
Initiate the lean to turn into it.
If you want to move the pendulum somewhere,
And I know I'm not supposed to be judging people for how they say things, but it just sounded so weird to me to say pendulum instead of pendulum.
you first
Like when I jelly up your mom.
move the base in the opposite direction.
Thank you for throwing things at me.
Now the pendulum is leaning in the direction you want to go, so you can move with it. And it's the same with a unicycle. In order to go forward, first you have to pedal back. So you're leaning forward, and then
Can any of you ride unicycles, by the way? That's such an
you
impressive
can
skill to
go
me.
forward with it.
Everything you're doing on a unicycle is all about keeping that contact patch right where it needs to be relative to you. You're balancing the broomstick. It's just that on a unicycle, you do the longitudinal balance with the pedals. And you do
Me
the
neither.
lateral
It
balance
seems
side
too
to
scary
side,
to me,
the
Rax.
same as you do with a bike. You essentially sort of small counter steer to get that weight, to get the contact patch out, and then you can pedal and bring it under you.
Now, I should point out that sometimes when the steering locked, we just happen to be leaning in the right direction to execute the turn.
Right.
Oh, managed it.
Essentially, by sheer luck, we had counter-steered before that side of the handlebars locked out.
Now I can keep going.
But don't turn left or you're gonna
Don't
be
turn left.
screwed.
I can't turn left. Stop now. What's interesting about this is
Guys, did you see? He almost hit someone.
I can't turn
Look,
left.
this person here has to jump out of the way.
What's interesting about this is it shows that you can still ride the bike perfectly well, right? It's just you can't turn left. The funny thing is that you couldn't initiate the turn.
Right.
I mean, the wild takeaway is that steering is not just for turning the bike. Steering is for balancing.
That's exactly right.
Why is it hard to balance on a stationary bike? I think most people believe it's because the wheels aren't spinning, so there's no gyroscopic effect. But that's not it. The truth is, you use steering to keep the bike underneath you. But steering doesn't work when you're stationary. Your balance comes not so much from how you position your body over the bike, but by how you steer the bike to keep it underneath you. Even when going straight, you're constantly making small steering adjustments to maintain balance.
You're moving the contact patch of the front wheel under you. You're doing exactly what you do when you balance a broomstick on your hand.
And so, if the rider is responsible for steering the bike to keep it balanced, how do bikes without riders stay upright? As long as a bike is moving with sufficient speed, it can keep coasting indefinitely. I first became aware of this phenomenon through the great videos by Minute,
It's pretty cool to see
which
this.
inspired me to make this video.
Even though, like, I feel like a lot of people have seen this, when you think about it, it's pretty interesting.
You should definitely check them out. But it turned out the ground where we went to test this effect was really bumpy. But the bike still manages to absorb all these perturbations and remains stable. So how does it do this? I think most people believe it's the wheels spinning that create some sort of gyroscopic effect that resists falling over. just like in this demonstration of gyroscopic precession. The wheel stays upright even though gravity is pulling it down.
This is black
But
voodoo.
this is not
Excuse me? Excuse me, Ellie? Excuse me? What do you mean my girlfriend riding the bike? My girlfriend, my girlfriend is definitely real and definitely exists somewhere out there. She just doesn't know it yet. Ah.
not why bikes are stable. Just watch what happens when we lock the handlebars completely, so you can only go straight ahead.
Locked out, locked out. Whoa!
All that's happening is the steering is locked. You just got to ride it. You don't have to turn. You just
Go straight.
ride. Letting go.
Some
Ash is
people
here.
tried going really fast.
Indefinitely not a figment of my imagination, I hope.
Holy crap, this is impossible.
Others experimented with extreme balancing techniques.
He's leaning.
Don't go
leaning
too
hard.
fast.
Whoa.
But even with the gyroscopic effect of the wheels, no one was able to keep the bike upright for more than a few seconds.
Wow. This is not safe for a second.
It is just as hard to
All the
balance on a bike
protective
with
gear.
locked
He looks like a
steering
little bit of a
as it
goon.
is to balance on a stationary bike.
No, this one is impossible.
Because you can't steer the bike back under you. The real reason bicycles are stable without riders is because they're cleverly designed to steer themselves. If they start falling to one side, the handlebars turn in that direction to steer the wheels back underneath them.
This is what I was talking about earlier, by the way, with
At
the
least
fancy
3
geometry.
mechanisms are responsible for a bike's corrective steering. The first is that due to the angle of the front fork, the steering axis intersects the ground in front of where the wheel touches the ground. So if the
So it is like, sorry, maybe I drew it wrong, but it is like an intentional design feature, the way
bike starts
they make
leaning
these.
to the left, the force
auto
from the
steer.
ground on the tire turns the wheel to the left. If the bike starts leaning right, the force from the ground pushes the wheel to the right. The front wheel of a bicycle is essentially a caster wheel, like those you find on strollers or shopping carts. Whichever way you drive them, the wheel falls in line and rolls in the same direction. The second reason for a bike's corrective steering is that the center of mass of the handlebars and front wheel are located slightly in front of the steering axis.
There we go. That's what I was talking about.
So when the bike leans left, their weight pushes the front wheel to the left. If the bike leans right, their weight steers to the right. And the third mechanism is a gyroscopic effect, but it doesn't keep the bike upright directly, it just helps steer. If you have a gyroscope and you push down on the left-hand side, the
Black
gyro
voodoo.
will turn left. If you push down on the right side, it will turn right. This is known as gyroscopic precession. It seems as though the force you apply takes effect 90 degrees from where you applied it. So, bikes are stable primarily because of steering. They have built-in mechanisms for steering themselves. In fact, you don't need all 3 mechanisms to create a stable bike. Researchers created this weird-looking bicycle to prove a point. It has no gyroscopic effect, thanks to counter-rotating wheels above the wheels that touch the floor. Plus, there is no caster effect because the front wheel touches the floor in front of the steering axis. But this bike is made stable by its mass distribution, the force of gravity on which steers it in the direction of any lean.
People make such like funny things to like do the science experience. I remember one of my professors in college had like a bike where it steered from the back wheel. It's like some weird stuff where like normally it's like your handles are here, right? And that then because your handle is here and it's obviously attached to the front wheel, that's what turns. But what he had was like, if this is the front wheel and this is the back wheel, there's some setup for the bike where like the handlebar through some linkage turns the back wheel instead of the front wheel to steer. And he was talking about how like very difficult it is to ride just because the way this control system works, where like if you turn it so that the bike is supposed to turn to the right, there's a linkage that in order to do that made this back wheel turn like left, right? So that means the whole bike turns to the right. It was really hard for people to ride because what actually has to happen for your bike to, turn right is the center of mass of your bike actually has to go left first. And it's just, this is such funky, weird math physics stuff. And people come up with such weird experiments to figure it out. And no one thinks of this until some professor or someone, creates a paper, right? We all just look at bikes and we're like, yeah, they just work. But there's like so much to it, right? Drift bike? Maybe. What do you mean handles, Rex? What do you mean handles? Your mom's got handles. Love handles. Lots and lots of love. Thank you. Thank you for the bike. Thank you for throwing stuff at my head. They teach this stuff in motorcycle training classes? Do you know how to ride a motorcycle, Mystery?
Understanding how bicycles work is
like, look at this fancy looking
by
test bike they made.
its mass distribution, the force of gravity on which steers it in the direction of any lean.
So cool.
Understanding how bicycles work is still an active area of research. There is a program you can use to input all the different bicycle parameters and see the range of speeds
It's so fancy looking.
over which it is self-stable. And this research is leading to better bikes. This prototype has a smart motor in the handlebars to actively help steer, keeping the bike upright even at low speeds. I guess it's fitting that we're still learning new things about
That thing
bicycles,
looks chunky as hell.
since most of us are able to ride one without any knowledge of how we're actually doing it.
Hey, this video is sponsored by KiwiCo, creator of awesome hands-on projects and toys
more
designed
ads.
to expose kids to STEAM concepts. And with the holidays fast approaching, a KiwiCo subscription is the perfect gift for any of the young people in your life. KiwiCo now has 9 different subscription lines for different age groups and topics. Plus, they ship to more than 40 countries. I think
These
it's such
look
a great
super
gift
fun, though.
because each
These,
month
like,
a box turns
they're
up
like
at your
toy
door
kits.
and provides hours of entertainment and learning. My kids love building KiwiCo projects with me. It's a special
He said, my kids love building KiwiCo projects with me, as he
Entertainment.
displays a video of him doing it without his kid.
and learning.
Why didn't he just have a video with the kids doing it with him? It would have been so easy. It would have been so easy.
My kids love building KiwiCo projects with me. It's a special thing we do together.
Instead, it's just a time lapse of him putting it together alone. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think it was easy money for him to just, have the little family point of view of it. You need a stream of me making these kits? I mean, I could be down. I want to do some hand cam streams. I just don't know how I'd set up. My current apartment is not, there's not exactly a lot of places I could set up a hand cam stream. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm more than a little afraid of doxing myself. More than a little afraid. So I feel like if I'm gonna do a hand cam stream, I need a really nice setup where I feel very confident that I'm not gonna accidentally point the camera at my face and then suddenly you're all like, oh, that's what Belle looks like. This tiny Asian girl. Now I can find her. Old white man? Yes. Yes, I'm actually an old white man. Old white man. But yeah, I mean, because I have Legos. I have Legos I want to build on stream. It was a lie, you knew it? Yes, exactly. Old white man. or what's the craziest combination? I'm actually Black Irish. But I would love to build some of these kits on stream. Maybe I think I need to move at some point because my current apartment is freaking... They jacking up the prices, and it kinda cray-cray. Kinda cray-cray. So I think I need to find a new place. And maybe then I'll find somewhere where I can, have a nice setup. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. I don't think I've seen you before, Numplex. But it's nice to see you. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a good time enjoying the stream. We were just... I don't know how long you were watching. Maybe you were lurking, but we were just watching stuff on bikes. And before that, we were watching the Stuff Made Here video that he recently did on, like, world's tiniest bike. I wonder if he didn't say that he, like, actually got the officiated world record, right? Did he? Did he say anything about, going to Guinness or whatever? Hand cam from under a bridge. Why a bridge? Are you implying I'm a troll? The troll under the bridge? Belle will remember this. Belle will remember this. It's like a Telltale game. You've lost reputation with Belle. All you better watch your meters. You better watch your meters and pay attention to your reputation and your relationship status with Belle. Because if not, when you're going to sleep at night, you better lock your windows, otherwise you might see this. You might see this right outside your window. Maybe with a knife. Maybe with a knife. You're going to sleep? Alright, Ash. Have a good night. That's fine. I mean, I'm probably gonna end stream soon. I didn't plan on streaming too long tonight. But I got through what I wanted to get through, which was hang out with you guys and have a lot of fun and watch these videos, right? We love Stuff Made Here videos. We probably won't get another one for like 3 months or something. But we love Stuff Made Here videos. So, I was happy to watch it for the first time with you guys. And I like hanging out with you guys. And I enjoyed our time together. I hope you have a good night, Ash. Hope you have a good night. Definitely don't look out your window. And definitely keep your blinds open. Definitely keep them open. Your mom jokes plus 500 social credits? Exactly. The mom jokes are what build your reputation points with me. Build your relation status. Build your relationship status with me. Anyway, like I said, I probably won't stream for too much longer. I think we're gonna raid Cyrene tonight. But we'll be back Friday 9 p.m. Pacific time, West Coast, Best Coast, and then Saturday too. And we're probably gonna hang out some more, play some games, yap a little. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I hope you have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you the weekend. But yeah, thanks for coming tonight, guys. Thanks for coming. I hope to see you this weekend. And stay for the raid. Stay for the raid. Thanks for coming, Fembu. Remember to leave the key under the welcome mat so Belle can assault you. I'll wake her up first. Okie dokie. Raid starting now. Be good. Don't do anything that would embarrass me, like making crazy your mom jokes. Maybe just a little. Alright, bye.